ground, we really are reminded of how lucky we are as we drift lower and lower into our own comfortable lives. We understand the value of concepts such as positive affirmative action, and if you will permit me to open just a small parenthesis here and explain in a very succinct way to the audience to the right of me and the audience to the left of me, and also those at the back, as to exactly what we mean by positive affirmative action. Well, let's begin by some definitions first of all. Positive, what is a positive? A positive sometimes is defined by, as you already know now, by what it is not. And a positive is certainly not a negative. So when we say something is positive, then when we refer to electrical charges, they are positively charged and will, if we placed a magnet there, the positive charges will move towards the positive side of the magnet and the positive side, and then the negatives will move towards the negative side, and hence we have a whole structure of battery cells and light and so on, and electricity. But there's also something else that we call positive. There is a positive outlook and a positive attitude, a psychological way of looking at things. There are positive beliefs very much at the highest level. And a positive belief is very much that in terms of faith and beliefs that are not to be changed over time, beliefs and values and positive values that will contribute to the betterment of mankind. And that leads us to positive attitudes and emotions and the way we emote and the way we interact with the world, which ultimately leads to positive behaviours and actions again. And so we see that we begin by defining what positive is, and we find ourselves defining the whole concept of positive affirmative action. And when we look at the second part, which is the affirmative, again, we can define it by looking at what it is not. And affirmative is not negating. Affirmative is affirming and confirming. In essence, it's saying yes. It's also positive. And whether those affirmations and confirmations relate to oneself or to the world around us or to objects or to science or to psychological concepts is equally valid. So when we have an affirmative belief, we are much more equipped to deal with life generally, and life is much more meaningful when our values are affirmative values rather than negating values. Intentionally or unintentionally, our whole consciousness is geared unconsciously towards accepting affirmative statements. Yes equals yes equals yes equals yes. An affirmative statement, such as stop, is readily accepted and is accepted much faster than a negative statement, such as do not continue. So therefore, affirmative values, affirmative attitudes, affirmative behaviours and actions are there for us from the dawn of time as tools in our disposal towards achieving our goals and moving more positively, confidently towards that ultimate direction. And finally, this leads us to action itself. Well, the cycle of action is a very simple one. Start, change, and stop. And if we apply the first two elements of the triad, meaning positive, affirmative, to each one of the three elements and stages of action, we will find, without a shadow of a doubt, that we will drift from a positive, affirmative start to a right, affirmative, positive change that will lead us to a correct, positive, affirmative stop. And there we have positive, affirmative action.